Hey, Sea Milk. What's up with bathrooms in China?
I don't know. Let's find out. Hey, Laowinners!
Welcome back to another video.
Yay. Viewer beware, you're in for a scare. There's going to be a lot of crappy jokes and potty humor today because today's topic is actually about bathrooms.
Yes, bathrooms in China are a lot different than what you'd get in the West, so we're going to cover all of those juicy topics.
First off, we have our baijiu. Today our baijiu comes from Heilongjiang, which is on the border with Russia, all the way up north. Let's pop this open. What the hell is this? Dude,
We win something?
we got money. 5 yuan note right in our baijiu. That's freaking awesome.
That's very good. I'm so happy we actually got to buy a nice bottle.
Huizhou City, the city that we live in, is famous for Hakka people, and Hakka people came from Henan, the province that you lived in.
Yeah, they came in from Henan and all around Henan.
Like 1,000 years ago or something.
Yep.
And they brought their food with them. So, the first thing we have is mei cai. Mei cai is a pickled vegetable they're famous for, and they wrapped some fatty pork, kind of like bacon, around it. That's yummy as hell.
Hands down to date, my favorite Hakka food I've ever had.
That is Y-A-H, yummy as hell. That's a thing that we say. I'm giving this an 8.5 out of 10. And I'm also giving that an 8.5 out of 10.
I'm gonna give that a 9.
This is awesome, baijiu, seriously. So bathrooms in China are a fun and exciting endeavor into the unknown realm of uncleanliness, disgustingness, and sometimes a surprise of convenience.
Yeah, you guys are gonna get different experiences depending on what kind of bathroom you're going to. Bathrooms in clubs are gonna be different than those in restaurants. They're gonna be different ones that you find in your friend's house, and malls, they're all gonna be different. So yeah, we're gonna show you the differences.
The first biggest difference that you might see when you come to China is that in someone's bathroom in their house, they have no bathtub and there's no shower curtain separating it. So when you are taking a shower, you're actually getting the entire bathroom wet. Your sink, your toilet, everything. So what does that mean for you? Well, a lot less cleanup. It's always clean. It's getting cleaned all the time. And number two, you can take a dump and also shave and take a shower at the exact same time, which is pretty cool.
Shave, the triple S's, all done in one time.
A lot of people ask, are toilets in China disgusting? Well, absolutely. They're absolutely disgusting sometimes.
So, yeah, usually they're gonna be disgusting. If it's a public washroom, definitely gonna be disgusting. If it's your friend's house, well, it depends on your friend. But they're just not as clean as Western toilets usually.
There was one time I was at a bus stop, and it was near Dongguan City here. And when I walked into there, the air was so ripe with ammonia smell, and smell, and just vomit and the most horrible toxic things you've ever smelled. It actually burned my eyes. And it was so bad that people couldn't breathe, so they ran in there and just pissed on the wall. So there were guys just pissing all over the wall.
We're just adding more ammonia to the wall.
But I'll never forget. Yeah, they're adding more ammonia to the wall, but I'll never forget. I turned to my left, looking for an open spot while holding my breath, and there was a guy playing a Game Boy while taking a shit in front of everyone, like an old gray Game Boy. I'll never forget that moment. So bathrooms in China, sometimes a very interesting place.
They can be, especially if you guys ever get the chance to check out a train station in China.
Ooh.
I'm talking like thick plumes of cigarette smoke, half a wall. It'll maybe come to your waist, depending on how tall you are. So you can easily see over these walls, and it's just people squatting and and smoking and playing Game Boys and hanging out. You know what the other weird thing is? Public bathrooms are cleaned. There's people in there cleaning them, but they still end up being disgusting.
Oh my lord, they're just so bad.
Like we mentioned before, not all Chinese bathrooms are going to be disgusting. If you go to bathrooms in malls that were built within the last year, they are superb. They're better than Western bathrooms. They have a person in there 24/7 cleaning all the time. They will usually have Western toilets or both.
So if you're a foreigner walking around China in a big city and you need a place to piss, you need to go to the bathroom, you need to take a dump. Now, one thing you're gonna have to learn is to squat. Most of
Yes.
the toilets here in China are squat toilets, and that's a recurring theme throughout Asia.
Yeah.
Now, what's an issue that you had with the squat toilet when you first tried?
Well, again, I still can't squat. I can't do it. So I'm always prepared. You don't need to know the details, but I'm prepared. So I don't usually run into the situation where I actually have to use them. But I mean, living in China and the difference with food and stuff, my first year there was definitely some emergencies.
Right.
And it's usually fine. You just kind of have to like hold on to something because you can't balance your first time doing it. The Laowai hold. And just kind of do your thing. The issue is you can't sit there for a long time because your legs get tired because you're cutting off blood circulation in your legs. That's the hardest part. I have heard horror stories of foreigners. They lean over too forward and they just end up like painting the wall behind them. It's really disgusting. And then they're all embarrassed. They have to like tell somebody.
Paint the town brown.
Exactly. Yeah. What are some of your experiences with squatter toilets in China?
Now, what happened was I had massive diarrhea, and I was actually with some clients in my office. And I knew that the bathroom down the hall in the office space only had squatter toilets. And it was a bit worrying because I was like, I'm not quite ready for this. I've done squatter toilets, but I'm not prepared. So I did my usual ritual. I whipped my pants off. I hung them over the side of the stall.
You never want most people's ritual.
Right. You don't want to get poop on your pants. And I squatted down just in the nick of time. But because I didn't want to, soil myself, I just went all the way down. It was the first time I actually squatted properly without the Laowai hold. Grabbed my knees, and I heard an audible pop. It was a popping in my Achilles tendon. And since then, it's been totally fine. I can squat just like a Chinese person now.
I envy you. I haven't yet reached that.
It's one of the biggest achievements of my entire life.
It's interesting too because the squatting position has influenced Chinese daily physical behavior.
Sure.
They don't actually sit in chairs in a lot of places. They'll squat. It's more comfortable for them. When they're waiting for a bus, they'll squat. It's just this comfortable position. You'll actually see signs, especially in Starbucks, it's the most common place, where it'll actually warn Chinese people not to squat on a Western toilet because they end up breaking the toilet or falling over and hurting themselves. And Starbucks doesn't want to get in any trouble for hurting a Chinese person because they don't know how to use a Western toilet.
Prozzie, if I go to a bathroom in China, oftentimes I see that there's no soap there, so how am I supposed to wash my hands?
You don't. you just don't.
Just don't wash your hands.
Wash your hands. You can't. It's not that you don't. You can't. There's no soap. You can rinse your hands. Usually there's a sink. There's not going to be any soap.
It was fairly alarming when I first came here because I was like, this is really dirty. But you know what? It's just how it is. Prozzie, sometimes when I go take a dump in a bathroom here in China, I have no paper to wipe with.
Yes. Remedied by people carrying around like tissues like pretty much everywhere they go. They just kind of carry on a little packet, and if they need to go, they just kind of take it. The hard part is sometimes restaurants don't provide them for free, and you don't have any, and you kind of forget, and you go, and then you're wasting socks.
We've all been in the underwear sock territory.
Yeah.
We've all went home without socks and underwear on. Yeah, if you know what I mean. Weird.
Clubs have masseuses. Anyway, so I'm at the Urinal, doing my business, and you'll never know what this is like unless you come here. And the warm sensation of a wet towel hitting your neck and another full-grown man massaging you as you piss. Now, I'm not the type of person that likes to be touched. I'm not a very physical person. I don't like to be touched. No, but especially when strangers touch me. So like you're kind of doing the wiggle thing. Like you can't say anything because back when I used to go to clubs, I couldn't speak very much Chinese, so I can't tell him that I don't want a massage. So you just kind of, but then you're wiggling into the next urinal and you're hitting other people. It's terrible.
There's a big faux pas in the West when you're at a urinal to look at the person next to you. Mm-hmm. I think every single time I go take a piss in a urinal here in China, the Chinese guy next to me will actually look at my genitalia.
They're curious. I mean, seriously, I used to teach at a university, and if there's break, and we all have break at the same time, so I had to share there's no separate washroom for teachers and students. And I have 3 of my students just kind of leaning over, checking out my junk. They're curious. And a lot of these people in a lot of the places you go have never seen a white person before.
Right. Tom W says, do you guys actually drink the water though? Because you guys have been there a while, and I don't know if you would get immunity to it after a while. I'm going to answer this really quickly and say, been there, done that, got dysentery, and went to the bathroom on topic, and pooped blood. Don't do it, never do it. But the water can be boiled, although it does contain quite a few heavy metals, so you should probably drink bottled water. Thank you so much, Laowinners. We'll catch you on the next episode.
Comment, link, and subscribe. Thank you so much for joining us.